Hey everyone, so today's clay tutorial is going to be on cinnamon buns, so let's get started. First, you're going to want to take your beige clay, now I'm just using Craftsmart's beige clay. It's about $1.50 and it's the Michaels brand, and I really don't think for beige it matters which brand you get, so I just get the Craftsmart one. Okay, so now my ball of clay is thoroughly conditioned, so it's ready for use. And before you work with clay, you want to make sure you wash your hands really well and try not to touch anything until you work with it to remove all dust particles so they don't get in your clay. Okay, and then my brown or chocolate clay is kind of brittle or hard because it's sculpey. I don't know if I just got like a one that wasn't very good or something, but so it's going to take a little bit longer to condition, so you want to make sure you take enough, so just approximately take just a little ball of clay and condition it. Okay, so now that we have our 2 balls of clay, we're going to move on to the next step. Okay, so now I've rolled out my clay, and it doesn't have to be a perfect thickness because really all my handmade creations aren't. But you definitely want the beige clay to be thicker than the chocolate clay because the chocolate's going to go on the inside as kind of like the cinnamon filling. So now what you want to do is you want to put the beige clay down first, then take your chocolate clay and lay it kind of over it so you will get a perfect square when you cut it out, and then kind of just flatten it like this. Then you want to take your blade, and we are just going to cut a strip of clay. Okay, so as you can see, you don't get a lot out of the clay because there's a lot of scrap, but I cut off all the excess so they're perfectly matched up, the beige and the brown. So now what I'm going to want to do is cut this square into some strips so I could roll them up into cinnamon buns. Okay, so now that I have my strip of clay, we are going to continue making them into the cinnamon bun shape. So what you want to do is take one of the strips. I got 4 out of my square, but you may get more or less depending on how much clay you used. So you want to take your one of your strips of clay, and you're just going to kind of roll it into a cinnamon bun shape, but you want to be careful because you don't want it to like be a perfect like I don't know how to say this, like a perfect circle, like a flat on top. You want to kind of have some dimension to it. So I'll try to explain it more after I do this. Let me just try to show you. So as you can see, I kind of rolled my cinnamon bun at an angle so it would make this kind of spiral shape on top if you'd like that, or you could probably make them flat, but this just gives it more of a dimension and realistic look. So now you're going to do the rest of the strips you have. Okay, so now I have my 4 cinnamon buns. Now here comes the kind of tricky part. So you're going to want to move these to the side. And to make the icing is, it looks way better if you do it this way than just using like fabric paint that you would buy at a craft store. So this is my icing. I'll zoom out a little bit. Now what I did is I mixed translucent liquid Sculpey, or TLS, with some white or vanilla colored clay, and you kind of shred little pieces of clay. You get a cup first, a small kind of tiny cups, because you don't want to make too much or too little. And you shred some pieces of clay in the bottom, and then kind of just sprinkle this on, or like drizzle it on. And then you want to take like a toothpick or something to stab down the clay with and mix it in with this. And so what you want to do is you want to fill your cup, like say you had something like this, just like something that you can close and save for later, because Palmer clay doesn't dry out and it doesn't harden until you bake it. So you probably want to put like the shredded clay about this much, and then you want to put some TLS and then stab it and then kind of leave it for 30 minutes and then just continue doing that until you get like a nice consistency. This one's kind of stringy, but it still works. So now you want to take your toothpick, like it'll look kind of like this, and this is how you want to make really good icing. So what you're going to want to do once you've made this, it'll take a pretty long time. You're just going to have to like sit there and kind of mix it around and make sure it has a good consistency before you start using it and it has no lumps or anything. So I've had this for, I've recently made this, but it has a good consistency, so I'm going to go ahead and use it now. So you want to take one of your cinnamon buns, and we're just going to drizzle this on. Now, what you do to do this is, so I'm going to take, but you don't want to take like a big glob, you kind of want to get like a thin string going like this. And then you're going to drizzle it on your cinnamon bun. So yeah, as I said, this process might take a little longer than the rest of this. Okay, and once you think it has just the right amount of icing, as you can see, it kind of strung off onto my tile here. So you're gonna want to take a cleaner toothpick. I have this one, and kind of just wipe it away from the sides. Don't worry, it won't mess up your project. You just kind of gotta pull it away like this. Okay, so now you have your cinnamon bun. And you want to be careful not to touch this part of the icing, or any part of the icing, because as you can see, it'll kind of like get on your fingers and maybe mess up your cinnamon bun. So I would like carefully move it with your fingertips. So now you're going to want to bake this for, it depends, you have to look on your clay package, but I have the Craft Smart type, and it says 275 per 1/4 inch or 6 millimeters. So I would bake this at about 6 to 7 minutes to get it hard, because for my prop, I'm not going to put an eye pin in this. I'm going to use it and put it on a plate and make it into a ring possibly, or a bobby pin or something cute. So, but if you want to put an eye pin in it, now would be the time to do it, and then go bake that. So I'm going to bake this and then we'll continue with the tutorial. Okay, so now that I've iced and baked my cinnamon buns, what I'm going to do is take my miniature plate that I got off of eBay, and of course you could also put in an eye pin like I mentioned before, and you don't have to put these on a ceramic plate. You can do whatever you want with them, but I'm choosing to do that and probably put them on a nice ring. So what I'm going to do is take some TLS again, and I'm probably going to place these on my plate like so. So I'm going to want to take some of my TLS it works also like a bakeable glue. So I'm just going to go ahead and basically glue or adhese these to my miniature plate and then bake again for a couple more minutes to secure them on. so now after I've baked my cinnamon rolls on a plate, I now have a cute plate of cinnamon buns. So I am making this into a ring. So I have my ring base right here, and I'm going to go ahead and glue it on. And now that I've glued on the ring base, I have an adorable, cute cinnamon bun ring. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this tutorial was helpful to you. I do have an Etsy shop that I make my clay creations and sell them. So I'd appreciate if you check it out. I'll put the link in the description box below. I'd appreciate if you check it out if you'd like to. And if you would like, you can comment. I love to see your comments, and I'll read and respond to them. Comment on any future videos you'd like to see, and I'd be happy to do them. So thank you very much for watching, and please comment, rate, and subscribe. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye!